Welcome to Weird Faith. We are so excited to be back with you, and we've got a really razzmatazz jazz fest of content tonight. We're hyped up, we're psyched up, and we're ready to go.
We need to start off with an apology because Tori's not here.
Yeah.
So we're saying apologies.
Took a step down.
She went off on a high note. Probably be back at some point, but we're sad to say that Josh is back.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. He did,
unfortunately. Yeah, I heard you guys. I listened the morning that the episode dropped. It was fantastic, and I'm glad Tori jumped in at the end. Phil said, "Hey, let us know in the comments. Should we have Tori permanently or have Josh come back?" And Tori had my back and said, "No." She knew they were going to pick her though, and she said that would crush him. And I say, "Thank you so much," because that would have crushed me. But thanks for having me back. We start things off with a song, though. So here we go. You ready? What would you think if my faith was all weird? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Lend me your ears and I'll sing of weird faith, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get weird with a little help from my faith. I get weird with a little help from my faith. Oh, gonna get weird with my faith. Do you need any weird? I need some weird in my faith. Could it be any weirder? I need some weird in my faith.
That was beautiful.
Woo! So excited for this week's episode of Weird Faith. Did we have any comments that we wanted to shout out or anything like that? I know we have some amazing weird.
They were literally
fans.
all about how amazing Tori was. So.
Yeah, and she did crush it. So big shout out to all you weirdos who jumped on there in the comments and made Tori feel welcome onto our show. That was such a fun episode. I really enjoyed looking at the gadgets and gizmos that you guys had.
Yeah, you used one of them in your sermon on Sunday.
I did. The selfie toaster. That was my favorite one, I think.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited to use
So
that.
we needed to address the awkward elephant in the room. Two of us are in character, but one of us is not.
I kind of look like it. If you look at it.
Phil.
I mean, if any of us look like Mario, it's actually
there was
you.
a yellow cousin of Mario.
Wario.
Yeah, that's true.
You kind of have the
Actually is
Wario.
like the yellow. They're cousins, right?
Yeah.
But we know that our fans would love to see you, in costumes.
No.
You gotta match our energy.
And later in a second, we're going to be talking about like famous duos, and there's no better dynamic duo than Mario and Luigi.
Nope.
But have you ever noticed that most duos have an awkward third wheel? So to be our awkward third wheel,
Am
Yoshi,
I your awkward third wheel? You guys.
Here is your Yoshi hat.
Yeah, get it on there. And what we're gonna do at the end of the podcast today, Scott is actually gonna get on Phil's back.
So
And
stay
Phil's
tuned.
gonna do some laps around the church
Yeah,
with
this
Scott on
thing's
his
pretty
back, just like Yoshi would.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you said that. That there's normally like a duo, and then there's all of a sudden there's this third guy that shows up.
Story of my life at CBC.
I didn't take long
Loser.
at all for you to get where I was going with that.
yeah, but we are so excited about today's episode, and like Scott said, we're gonna be talking about some iconic duos, some real dynamic duos through the history of the universe. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn things over to you guys. What are some of your favorite combinations, these iconic duos that you guys came up
So
with?
I had to start with one. I didn't tell these guys I was going to do this one, but I think we need to talk about the most dynamic duo on the planet right now.
Okay.
They have taken over social media. They have taken over all of football.
Oh,
Let's
no.
talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor
my
Swift.
gosh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I just thought, if our fans who are listening watch football, they're probably sick and tired of this power couple. So I wanted them to be more tired of it after they
I'm
listened
here
to
for it, man.
I'm here for it too.
Travis Kelce's always been one of my favorite football players.
He's the best
since
Kelce.
He's been in the league.
No,
But I was gonna say, there's another dynamic Swift Kelce duo in the league.
DeAndre
and that's-
Swift.
DeAndre Swift and Jason
running
Kelce.
behind Jason Kelce.
Yeah, I saw the other day they did a picture where it was Kelce, Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Swift. And they thought it was prophecy that Travis Kelce is going to hurt Taylor Swift.
So
it's
if we're talking about dynamic duos in how like much attention they get, they got to be in the running. If we're talking about longevity, I'm not banking on them lasting as long as Mario.
He'll be in Taylor Swift songs.
It may be one of the best albums we've ever heard, though.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah.
What are you gonna say about him though? Like he's the
best.
Well, he's almost like dummy proof. Like,
yeah.
What are you gonna say that's gonna?
No. He can't be hurt.
Right. Yeah.
No, he'll be fine.
Or is she gonna make fun of football? Like,
I can't look at you.
I know it's very heavy too.
It's the way the nose keeps bouncing around too. Oh man!
All right. No, but in reality, I went with the old school, one of the most iconic duos of all time. Even whenever we talk about famous duos, we usually use them as a standard bearer of iconic duos. So first is Batman and Robin. So first, making their debut in 1940, Batman and Robin debuted as a comic book strip. Yes, there was Burt Ward and Adam West as the TV show, but we also need to remember the absolute train wreck that it is George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell and Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you've ever seen the movie Batman and Robin, have you ever seen it, Josh?
Yeah,
that's the one where that's like very descriptive.
George Clooney's suit is very descriptive of his body.
A body.
A body.
A human. Yeah, I got to watch that one with my dad and my grandpa one time, and I remember saying, like, this is something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The fun thing about the who was it? Adam West. Right?
Adam West
was Robin's always got a like jumping Jillikers Batman. He's always got some kind of weird.
Honestly, the best phrases though. We got to bring those
back. Have you played maybe when Sadie gets a little bit older? The Lego games are awesome for bringing in some of that nostalgia stuff. But there's Lego Batmans. Noah and I played all those Lego Batmans together, and
Lego Batman the movie is in one of my top 5 Batman movies.
I've never seen that actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Josh and I have movie dates planned for like 13 movies. We haven't watched a single one yet, but eventually there's actually 2 different Batmans on there.
Because every time I mention a movie, you're like, dude, movie date soon. It's on the calendar. I'm making us dinner. We're doing movies.
That part was never mentioned because I don't cook.
I'm just playing. It's just as much my fault. I can invite you over to watch a movie.
All right, Phil, your first one.
So mine is, I didn't know these guys were dressing up, is actually the Mario brothers. There's a picture from the movie there. Do you know what Mario's original name was?
Jim.
Jumpman.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Right, because the Japanese character. Do you know what game he showed up in originally before Mario?
Super Jumpman Brothers?
No, it was Donkey Kong. You
know
that, right?
Yeah. Dude.
It doesn't jump
with
out
the barrels.
Right.
Yeah, I always forget about that.
Do you know what Mario's last name is?
Mario
Bros.
No, it's Mario.
I did not know that until the movie.
It's the Mario Brothers. And
so what is Mario's?
Wait, so
no, is his name really Mario?
It's Mario, and
Luigi Mario?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that until the movie.
Know that.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing.
Right. Noah knows. Oh, so I forgot to mention this. I asked my kids. I thought it'd be fun to ask them some of these duos. So some of these are for him and Chloe. This one's from Noah. And he has always been all things Nintendo, but especially Mario. And he told me that a long time ago when he was like 8. He's like, "Did you know it's Mario?"
He probably invented that.
Yeah, right. No. It's in the movie now. Yeah.
No.
You mean him first?
Yeah. Noah is that into
it
that he had some.
I think you're like, he made it up.
Oh no, no. I trust Noah more than anybody on the planet.
But one thing that I found that through like the canon of the video games that's kind of weird, they're supposed to be twins. They come in one of the Yoshi's World video game. They come with a stork in one, little.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever what do you call the thing the stork carries?
A little diaper bag.
Yeah. And they
knapsack.
They get dropped off and given to the parents there, and so you just see the parents' hands. That's the only time you see it. But even though they're different heights and different, different personalities, they are actually meant to be brothers and twins, and then that whole game. The point of that is Yoshi is trying to. You reunite the 2 brothers because they.
You say that's on like the original Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island. Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Whenever Josh told us we were doing this, I was a little disappointed that we already had done the Peaches song from the movie.
I know.
It would have been perfect.
It would have been cool. So I was really expecting Scott to start us off with this one, but Han Solo and Chewbacca, classic duo, maybe the best duo from the Star Wars franchise. I know Scott's going to bring up one that would maybe kind of fight us on that, but Han Solo and Chewie, amazing on the screen together. Their friendship is awesome. The way they're always willing to battle for each other, going to war for each other. I think one of the saddest moments in film history is when Han Solo dies and you see Chewie doing his best to express that pain in Chewbacca voice.
What does it sound like?
Voice. What's it sound like? I was trying to make I always try to get Scott to make sounds on here, but no, I can't do that either.
That's funny.
But yeah, Han Solo and Chewbacca, iconic duo. Go ahead.
So mine's going back to 1970, a show that I have watched the reruns of many times as a child. From the Muppet Show, we got Statler and Waldorf, everyone's favorite curmudgeons from the balcony who love to heckle everything in the show. So fun fact, they are actually named, they were created by Jim Henson, but they're actually named after the Statler Hilton Hotel and the Waldorf, Astoria Hotel. And that's where the names came from. And primarily, if you go back and watch it, their favorite person to heckle was Fozzie.
Yeah.
And it's found out in a Christmas special that they are actually close friends with Mrs. Emily Bear, which is Fozzie's mom. Okay. They're like close friends. And so out of their heckling, it's a little bit like of a love shown towards this young.
Okay.
And if you ever watch Muppet Babies, like I do with my kids, there actually is an actual nice relationship that he has with these two gentlemen.
Are they younger then?
No, they are still just as old as they are.
Are they old babies?
If you've ever watched Muppet, they're like they go out in the backyard and play at the daycare, and they're literally the next door neighbors who look over the fence and heckle the kids.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. But like, I mean, we're pastors, right? Every church has a Waldorf.
Oh yeah.
And Statler.
It's us.
Ron.
It's me and Phil.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Ron sits up in the balcony.
He does sit up in the balcony
with whoever else, whether it's JT or Jacob Hill. Yeah. You guys just join in and you just heckle us from the stage. Usually it comes in a text.
It definitely is actually Ron.
It's Ron.
Just insert somebody, whoever's in the soundboard with Ron that Sunday. We were just at Disney World and we got to see it's like some kind of Muppet show that they do there. And those two guys absolutely rock the show.
Oh, yeah.
They made it amazing. So.
Phil.
All right. What do we got next? We have Tom and Jerry. This is another one that Noah has always loved. Back when he was even like 3-4 years old, he watched it with his grandfather. Fun fact, though,
you didn't watch it with him?
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, but he would think of that sitting on the lap with his grandfather watching Tom and Jerry. He even can tell you like the producer Fred Quimbley is like the original like producer.
That's a name.
The original good ones. That's where they could tell whether they were going to be a little better quality or not. But they debuted in the 1940s, originally named Jasper and Jinx.
Oh, that's such a terrible name.
Not Tom and Jerry. Yeah,
I guess Jasper would be Tom.
I think
and
so.
Jinx would be the mouse.
Which one is Tom?
Jerry.
Tom's the cat.
The cat.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Tomcat, right?
Dude, I grew up watching Tom and Jerry every week.
Jerry the mouse. But they decided to change the name after doing a contest of having people write in what they wanted the names to be. 7 Oscars between the Tom and Jerry.
Huh. Wow.
I mean, I'm sure they shared it the whole time. This one performance of Tom was, specifically.
Yeah.
They almost never talk. There's a few times in the show that they talk. There also were some very dark moments.
Yeah.
In Tom and Jerry.
I'm thinking of one right now where, because there was like a lot of like heaven and hell type stuff.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yep.
But I remember at the end of one, I don't remember if Tom had like died and like his ghost was talking to you or something.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time I heard Tom talk, and it was like this super deep voice. And I remember being like so rattled, like my heart racing, like what is happening? Like what's going on my TV right
they're
now?
messing with some
it's
people
pretty dark.
like that. Yeah. And it doesn't surprise you too much when you think about them running around with axes and dynamite and
I wonder
fire.
if you could get away with some of the violence.
Sure
like it was more okay back then.
We'll make a Weird Faith cartoon and we'll do it too.
Yeah.
We'll chase each. I got a sledgehammer right there in the office. We'll just chase each other.
You would be Tom and you would be Jerry, and I would
Is
be
that
the
a short
dog.
joke?
What's the dog's name?
Man, I can't.
The Bulldogs.
No, tell us in the comments what the dog's name is.
Drop in the comments.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is right now. I'll be the dog that just kind of hangs out and instigates.
But he messes with the cat. Yeah.
Speaking of dogs, your next one.
Oh yeah, my next one would be Scooby and Shaggy. Scooby Doo. So Scooby and Shaggy, iconic duo. First made a debut all the way back in 1969.
Wow.
Scooby and Shaggy were on my TV all the time as a kid, and I had to put this one on here too because it's Sully's favorite TV show. A lot of times when we leave the house, we put Scooby-Doo on. I think it's on HBO, and we'll put Scooby-Doo on.
That's
and
funny.
Sully sits there
So
and
funny.
takes it on. He loves Scooby.
Sorry, that's weird.
Yeah. But Sully loves it. Another fun fact, though, about Scooby-Doo, I just read a second ago, like I knew there were different variations of the show that have dropped. Like I remember when Scrappy-Doo came out, and there's like a new Scooby-Doo now.
People
There's
hate
been movies. Really?
I never did. I was fine.
I was
with
fine with
Yeah.
him. I mean, it wasn't the same as the old
Right.
original
Puppy
like,
Power, right?
It wasn't as
His name.
good, but I was fine with Scrappy. Yeah, there's been 12. I think I read 12 different variations of the show, which is pretty crazy.
It's really hard to, if you Noah's watched a decent amount of them, and there's this other YouTube channel called Film Theory, and they kind of like try and work through like the timeline and what's canon and what's not canon, and they do not follow any, like it almost some of them. The one you probably remember watching as a kid, every time they took the mask off and it was the mayor or something like that. Well, the newer ones, it's not. There is actually some like mystical things or monsters that are going on.
Like that aren't. They're not. It's not somebody in a.
No, not always.
Huh.
I think sometimes it still is, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I also read the show was originally named The Mysterious Five.
I can't do it. My head, I can feel like the blood going up.
Yeah,
to my
you've
head.
got an awesome line around your forehead.
How do I look
now? But yeah, The Mysterious Five, Scooby and Shaggy and the gang, those meddling kids, we love them.
Yeah.
So I've always thought of all the duos in the world, you got Tom and Jerry, Scooby and Shaggy, SpongeBob and Patrick. We got Phil and Lil from Rugrats. It's
Phil
always
and
who
Josh.
would I want
Phil
to
and
hang
Josh.
out with? And there's no, you guys. Right. There's no better duo in my mind than the famous ones from Friends, Joey and Chandler.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there would be anyone else who I'd rather play foosball with, kick up in a Barca lounger,
Own a duck with.
I was gonna say,
go buy a duck and a baby
duck.
chick,
Yeah.
and play the cup game with. I mean, these guys are amazing. Friends, like I think we've maybe even said this on here. My Friends is only in my top 5 favorite comedies of all time because of Joey and Chandler.
Yeah.
Like if those two weren't in the show, it wouldn't be that funny to me. But those two together are one of the funniest things.
Kind
I
of
think
would be
on TV.
pretty annoying without that.
It'd be really annoying.
Yeah. No. So, quick. Would you rather though? We haven't done one of these in a while. So, if you were to insert yourself in and be the iconic duo with either Joey or Chandler, and the other one doesn't exist forever, which
I want to keep Joey around.
Keep Joey.
Joey will so if I keep Joey, does that mean I'm now Chandler?
It's you.
How could
it's
you
Scott
be?
and Joey.
It's just me. Could I be any more annoying?
Yeah.
No. Joey's gonna be more fun,
Yeah.
but Chandler would probably pay my bills.
Sure.
That's what he does for
sure.
Joey.
Yeah.
What's the other
Who's
dude's name?
paying the bills if it's you and Joey?
Nobody.
I can't think of the other dude's name.
Ross.
Ross.
Yeah.
No one likes Ross.
Yeah. He can leave regardless.
Ross is okay, but like he is. We talked about iconic duos and the annoying third wheel.
Yeah. Right.
That's
yeah.
Ross.
He did
Ross-
better in Madagascar. That's one of the giraffes.
So then I've heard
It's more
people
fitting of his character and personality.
with this take before too. So if you had to pick the iconic duo between the girls and who's the third annoying one that you could do without,
Monica.
Monica.
Mm.
I've heard a lot of like Rachel hate over the time that like Monica, Phoebe great, Rachel annoying. I don't know. Yeah, I think Ross is probably the least important. Chandler and Joey are fantastic.
Phil's next one, I did not see coming because one, I've never seen this before. I know what it is, but
Yeah.
let's see it.
Yeah, this is Romeo and Juliet. So what I actually am talking about is Romeo and Juliet. But I thought it would be funny to talk about this like derivative of Romeo and Juliet, which is this cartoon trying to remember. There's a second one too. Sherlock Gnomes.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my god.
So the one fun thing about it is it's all Elton John music the whole time.
Is it really?
So there's
That's
some,
fantastic.
Yeah, some pretty fun
redeeming quality.
Yeah, right. But so Romeo and Juliet is actually written by the one we are familiar with, written by William Shakespeare, but it actually is based on a poem by Arthur Brooke, which apparently in that time it was pretty common. They called it cribbing ideas from other writers, and apparently it was a normal thing to do. Josh does this with his sermons a lot.
I was literally getting ready to say
I've
this.
never written an original thought ever.
Or had an original thought.
No,
Cribbing
never.
sounds so much better than plagiarism.
I can't write one if I've never had one. So it's the source of the problems.
But it's not necessarily an original, story. But he based these characters on this poem that is called "The Tragical History of Romeus and Juliet." So he wrote his in 1592. The play's most famous line, though, can you think of what the
Is it
line might be?
to be or not to be? Is that in Shakespeare?
No,
That's
that's
Macbeth.
That is
Yeah,
Shakespeare,
Macbeth.
though.
Yes,
Okay,
it is
wait,
Shakespeare.
hold on. What is it, Scott?
Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
so it's
sorry.
actually "Wherefore art thou, Romeo?" And the weird part of that is the word "wherefore" actually means why, not "where are you?"
Why are you?
Yeah.
Why
are
It's
you
kinda-
Romeo?
They think it's
And not Romeo.
they think it's actually like a mistake, not really like purposeful.
I like
Yeah.
the Taylor
his
Swift
writing was
version
pretty
better.
trash,
Right.
So.
Taylor Swift's version. Yeah. That's the
there's
most we'll ever get him to sing Taylor Swift.
100. That's all I know. There's 160 movies that I could find based on Romeo and Juliet.
And a lot of terrible plays.
All right,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
the challenge.
Middle school plays.
We watch all of them together.
That's
Nice.
that's the real movie night. You're gonna cook?
Yeah, all good.
Have you seen Romeo and Juliet? You should check
I've
it
never
out.
heard of this.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
pretty
see that
good.
on your
It was
list
a-
earlier. I
It
kinda
was a big,
glossed over it, I
yeah.
guess.
You threw me for a loop because I have it in a different order here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have been surprised if you hadn't heard of what my next one on here is.
I know which one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to my childhood for Josh's next one.
Oh, okay.
Get ready to cry.
Really?
What?
I didn't know you were a fan.
I was yeah. Let's just
All right,
go.
throw it up there. Ash and Pikachu,
Ooh.
but that is not from the original.
It is not.
That's a new Ash and Pikachu.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's not Indigo.
No,
League
when I say my
series.
child, so I remember that's it really exploded during my childhood. Like that's
Yeah,
when,
same.
but like I had the Game Boy Color,
Yes.
and I love Pokemon Yellow,
Mhm.
Pikachu, basically
The
Pikachu
original
game,
ones.
and Pokemon Gold. I think
Yeah,
was the
Gold
other one I
was,
loved.
that was the second gen.
Yeah, I can't
and
remember
the
what was the other one before
Johto.
Yellow.
Was it red and blue?
No. So there was yellow, red, and blue, and those
Red-
were
I had
all
red.
first gen.
Okay.
So I had Yellow
Um,
first, then I had Red
Gold,
also.
gold, silver, and crystal were second gen, and then it went to ruby, sapphire, and emerald.
The other day, I got a Happy Meal for my kids,
Mm.
and it was Pokemon cards as the
Nice.
gift, and my kids were really disappointed.
Dude, that's
It's like,
okay.
what
So
is
I
this?
actually saw that we're on your desk in there.
Yeah.
I was like, Scott's got Pokemon cards in here. And I was like digging through. I think I was getting that book for seminary, and it caught my
He was
eye.
just digging through your office.
Yeah, I
He
look
does
through
that.
there all the time. I got to find
He
stuff
takes
to put
naps
in
in
my office.
there.
But yeah, Ash and Pikachu, huge part of my childhood. I can remember coming home after school every day and watching Pokemon. They dropped the original Indigo League series, which is the very first stuff. They dropped it on Netflix when I was a senior in high school, and I stayed out of school for 2 days and binged the entire thing.
That's
And,
great.
Sounds
yeah,
about right.
Yeah, so mom and dad, sorry, I didn't have a stomach ache those 2 days. I had Pikachu Pokemon fever.
Ooh.
And yeah, Ash and Pikachu. I've actually got a little Pikachu right here in front of me on the Weird Faith poster. Some different Pokemon and toys make their appearance here. You guys have probably noticed those, but Pikachu has probably been here the most frequently, and I decided to bring him out today. So
Did you see Detective Pikachu?
I've never seen it.
Movie
No.
night.
How many times can we quote movie night? in
A
wrestling?
lot, because I feel like there's a lot of movies I've not seen. Like
Yeah.
this,
There's a lot
every
of
time
movies
we're in a
you've never seen.
conversation, it's like I've never seen that.
I went and
So-
saw that with Noah. Noah's very into Pokemon cards, especially was. He goes through things that he's interested in, and he'll go
Hey,
back to it.
stay into it, because I feel like you kind of hit a point where it's like, Pokemon's not cool anymore. I remember giving all my cards away when I was in middle
I bet
school.
they were worth it.
And then now I'm like regretting it. Like, what was I doing? Like once
Sully would love
I had a whole binder of cards that I
Sully.
gave away for free to one of my friends, like little brother. I wish I would have kept them all.
Sully deserved it. That little stinker. It's going to turn my hair gray.
So earlier, Josh said that Han and Chewy were the most iconic duo from Star Wars.
And I was right.
I disagree. And I'm not talking about Luke and Leia. I am talking about the greatest duo, everyone's most lovable duo from Star Wars, R2-D2 and C-3PO. Do you know who also agrees with me, Josh?
I don't care.
The maker himself, George Lucas.
Oh,
George Lucas has stated that his favorite character in all of Star Wars is R2-D2. Not C-3PO, he's kind of a bummer. But R2-D2 is his favorite.
R2 is the best droid.
If you watch every movie, he says he always finds one way for R2-D2 to be the savior of the day. In every movie, there's one part where even if it's just a small, you notice we eat candy on the set a lot.
They're highlighting some nerves, bro.
Oh, no.
Right here.
There we go.
But, so yeah. Also, what'd you say?
I said yours is right here, and you moved it closer to you.
This guy picked it up and put it closer to himself.
So they're, but not only are they George Lucas's favorite, they have more appearances in all of Star Wars than any other character. They've been in more. They were in all 9 of the trilogy movies.
Yeah.
They were also in Rogue One. They also, one of them may or may not have made an appearance in one of the newer TV shows. Not going to spoil that one. But then also, R2-D2 makes an appearance in 2009's Star Trek Into Darkness as floating debris through space.
Oh, wow.
Really?
In Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's a golden emblem, and then on the emblem itself is R2-D2 and C-3PO, because as George Lucas also worked on that movie. Then also, they made appearances in Transformers. They were in Wreck-It Ralph, and they've been on Sesame Street. Can Chewbacca say that?
Wow.
Actually, probably he may have actually been on Sesame Street. I don't know.
Say it. How would he say it?
We're gonna do it one day. But I found out that George Lucas actually based their performances, which is by Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker, off of they wanted them to be basically Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They wanted to be like a slapstick kind of comedy duo that kind of conflict with each other all the time, and it's they're the best.
That's pretty good.
I like that. Yeah,
that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. R2 was probably my favorite. Like watching him growing up, it's like, yeah, he's probably my favorite character.
I love any droid. Any
BB-8
show.
is awesome.
BB-8's cool.
And
like fantastic.
Dito, or what is it from the 9th movie, the little one.
Oh yeah.
The movie that everybody hated.
I'm finally like binging through Mandalorian because I went to Disney, did all the Galaxy's Edge stuff, and was like, man, it's a shame that I haven't watched all these shows. I watched Obi-Wan, but anyway, I just fell in love with the one that like protects Grogu.
Yeah.
And at the end of the first season, and then he like
IG-11.
sacrifices himself and explodes at the end of that river.
Yes. I
was
really
so
like
sad.
You
He
know
was
whose voice that is?
awesome.
That's Taika's voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's Korg, and I think it's IG-11.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name's
That's
Korg.
the
I
one
made
with
rocks.
the guns, right?
Yeah, and he comes in to save the day on that motorbike, whatever you want to call it. What are they called in Star Wars?
Speed racers.
Speeders, yeah. Yeah. He's an awesome
Ahsoka
droid.
one is pretty funny too. I don't know what his name is.
Chopper.
Oh, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say Ahsoka right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't there like, I can't remember, was it in Obi-Wan? There's like kind of a big brute droid.
Oh, yeah. Is he
that-
gold?
Yeah.
He's like a
I don't know if he had a
What
name.
it is.
I can't remember his name, but he was basically a loading droid that like
Yeah,
cargo
that's
stuff.
Yeah, he was pretty
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, every single one of them has like this.
They make 'em
Sadie
so
loves to
good.
watch. So the Clone Wars TV show, which I love all things Star Wars. But she loves to watch the Clone Wars TV show. But specifically, there's a 5-episode arc where it's just droids, and she calls them robots. And so whenever I turn on Disney Plus, she sees it. She says, "Let's watch robots." I'm like, "Yes, let's watch robots." But she won't let me watch any other episode except for those 5.
Yeah.
Shout out to C-3PO in episode 4 when they're getting bought by Luke's family, and he like pleads the case for them to take R2 instead of that red one. Like, dude,
He has a messed up motivator.
Yeah, what would have changed?
Like a couple of days before that, he told him to go the other way.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So he's kind of a jerk.
But he saved
He
it.
redeemed
Dude,
himself.
the
He's
Death
an
Star
anti-hero.
wouldn't have blown up. They wouldn't have done anything that mattered if he had not been an advocate for R2.
Amen.
What is it that Luke says that you always...
Tashi
yeah.
Station.
Yeah. I wanted to go and spend.
I'm gonna go pick up some converters at Tashi Station.
I want to go pick up converters at Tashi Station.
Cracks me up every
Whining.
time.
All right, Phil has one that I have. I don't know. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, this is what I thought you were saying before.
Dude, I must not have read your list before.
I kept two of them out because I knew you wouldn't know what they were.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't think you would guess
this
them.
is a show from, I don't even know, before even I was a kid. I remember it being like reruns when I was a kid, called Perfect Strangers. And the series chronicles the relationship between Larry and Balky, who is his distant cousin. And Larry's just moved to his first apartment in Chicago. He has all this family back home, and he's finally excited to be on his own and by himself. And Balky shows up, this distant cousin he'd never met before, knocks on the door and says, "Hey, I need a place to stay." He's from somewhere in the Mediterranean, this mythical island known as Mypos. And he arrives, just to crash into his life and kind of ruin everything. So if you like Laurel and Hardy, they're absolutely just physical comedy the whole time. They have these dances that they do together that are Myposian. And Family Matters is a spinoff of this show.
Really?
With Steve Urkel.
Huh.
Harriet is the elevator operator in the newspaper building that
It's all connected.
they work in. And if you like, just like Tori loves old shows that just have no drama or no sadness, not because she doesn't understand that the world is full of those things, but because she understands that there's enough of that.
So why not go to a reality where it's not that
right,
bad?
exactly,
Like
to
Mayberry.
escape, right?
Worst thing that ever happened on there, Opie killed that bird or something
Right.
one time.
Yeah,
Right.
That's a sad episode, dude. Don't bring that up.
Dude, you're talking
Or
about my bird.
someone stole some
Drops.
pies.
My
from
favorite part is when he
Aunt
picks. You guys get the
Who
fly
stole that
just
pie from the bakery?
falls off.
and the drunk goes and locks himself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's responsible.
So go check that out if you haven't. It's on Amazon. I
Yeah.
think.
So Josh went with one that I think everybody would assume one of us would have picked,
Yeah, well, I
but
think
we chose not to.
I think it would have been assumed that we did an office duo. But we kind of were talking. So we got Michael and Dwight. Awesome, iconic duo from the show. But as soon as we got in here, we're talking like what is the actual most iconic duo? Because I saw people say Jim and Pam on the internet. You could say Jim and Dwight, just the constant banter, the pranks, pretty awesome. But I decided to go with Michael, Dwight's superhero, the person he looked up to the most. There's some pretty awesome Dwight moments in his following of Michael Scott. So had to throw Michael and Dwight in there. All three of us are huge Office fans. We've
find
got some
some
Office
Office stuff,
Yeah, there's Michael Scott.
we have Dwight
stuff up
and
there, Dwight.
Michael in here.
Yeah, there's a Kevin Malone over there. There's
Dwight
like 3 or
bobblehead.
4 Michael Scotts in here. There's actually more Michaels in here than I realized.
Let us know your favorite duo from the
And
Office.
at least 3 Dwights. I see 3 Dwights in here.
Here's the best scene in The Office right here is Kevin and his chili.
Yep.
That
Kevin
is-
with the
and
chili.
we got some
pot.
chili over there too.
Maybe that's the iconic duo. Kevin and
his
Kevin's
chili.
famous chili.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a couple honorable mentions I wanted to throw in there too. I didn't want to go only animated because I was kind of leaning that way, but Mike Wazowski and James P. Sullivan from Monsters Inc. Best scare team there was. And then I threw in a couple. So I went back. I thought that you were doing SpongeBob and Patrick.
Wait,
Did
We
you
still
change them?
have some.
Oh, are we not done?
Well, we still have a couple.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't put them all in the text. I'm sorry. I'm gonna blame you.
You can blame me for everything.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw. I'll
Go
keep
ahead and
my
do your
mentions. No, I'll keep my mentions. And
At least now we know
you-
you guys aren't the famous duo. Not
It's
on the
us.
same
Well, how
page.
about Phil? Yeah, just go and do your last one, which is
Okay, I
SpongeBob
got
and Patrick.
SpongeBob and Patrick. This was Chloe's pick. Best friends since they were born.
Best
They've been
friends
through
forever.
many adventures together: jellyfishing, bubble blowing, getting a goofy goober ice cream sundae, annoying Squidward. SpongeBob is the 8th rank greatest cartoon of all time. I think that's pretty low, probably. Still
Yeah.
one of
was
the
that
most.
before or after Tom and Jerry?
I'm assuming a lot of the top 7 in front of him are probably nostalgic older ones.
Right. Yeah.
SpongeBob,
And maybe some.
it's still still airing.
Right.
I don't think the new ones are probably any good.
Right.
I don't really know.
It's in its 13th season, but I think this last season has been like just dropping a couple every year.
Okay.
But you probably also have some of those adult like cartoons on that list as well. But it's still one of the most popular children's show. They're still building. Is Universal, doesn't it have some type of SpongeBob?
I haven't been there
probably.
in a while.
I think it does.
Yeah, I can't remember what it would be, but I feel like we were there last year. I feel like there was something.
Our family always watches all the Christmas episodes. There's a fruitcake one that's a claymation, and then just all those Christmas episodes are fun.
Yep. What's your favorite SpongeBob episode? You guys have one? You're not a SpongeBob guy.
So SpongeBob came out at that point in my life where I was like at the stage of like not watching cartoons anymore. So I came in at that tail end of my childhood, I'll say that way. But I did have a Patrick Star like pillow, like that was awesome.
What's my excuse? I'm 7 years old.
You are, but I always do love. I never remember what it's called, but when the band that they put
that's
together.
what I was gonna say.
Oh,
it's called Band Geeks.
Bubble Bowl.
The Bubble Bowl.
Yeah, it's called Band Geeks. It's I think hands
Squidward,
down.
you're never gonna make it to the Bubble Bowl.
Still playing the cash register, Squinty. Yeah, it's a classic episode.
SpongeBob's back there. Everything we reference, I think we have something in here.
SpongeBob's back here. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's behind my arm over here.
Patrick's up there next to the Dundee.
Yeah.
See, look at that.
There you go.
A couple more that I have. So not only do I love Star Wars, I also love Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to go with a duo from Lord of the Rings, specifically Merry and Pippin. They're very underrated because they're kind of goofballs.
Yeah.
But they are awesome, and they're distantly related to the Bagginses. I never knew that. But one of the reasons why I even bought my house in Clarksburg is it kind of looked like J.R. Tolkien would live there. It kind of looks like a little Hobbit house.
It's a shire.
But I read the books a couple years ago during the pandemic, and I absolutely loved them. Did you know that Merry and Pippin became the tallest hobbits of all time?
Really?
Because when they were in Fanghorn Forest with the trees, the Ints, they drank some of Treebeard's Int draft, and they actually grew to new heights, literally. So
Was it bones or like branches?
there's some kind
inside?
of drink.
I mean, did they become like half tree?
No, they literally just grew up and taller. So
Huh.
if you ever want
Good for
to,
them.
go to new
That
heights,
might help. Yeah.
go to Fanghorn Forest
They
for a
really-
draft.
Do you have any draft?
Not from Fanghorn Forest now.
You do kind of look like that tree dude.
I look like the tree dude.
What's his name?
Dude.
Treebeard.
Yeah,
it.
you
Tree
totally
dude.
could be Treebeard for Halloween this year.
That'd be awesome. Another one I threw in here. My top 3 favorite TV shows of all time is MASH, and so I threw in BJ Honeycutt and Hawkeye. It was hard because I did love Trapper John if you like the MASH, but I thought BJ Honeycutt was funnier and just more lovable. And then one more, and this one is nostalgic because my childhood officially ended 2 nights ago. My childhood is now officially over because Adam Wainwright
Oh, there's a duo.
has now retired.
Did you watch that video with
I
Chris
watched
Carpenter?
Carpenter.
I watched it all.
Yeah, that was
So if
pretty
you never know, Adam Wainwright used to be a Brave, but he never went up in the
was.
big leagues. He got traded for,
Oh no, I don't know.
you don't remember, J.D. Drew, and then we got Adam Wainwright in return. Spent his entire career pitching for the Cardinals, and ever since 2004, his catcher was Yadier Molina, who retired last year.
Yeah.
And so as of now, my childhood upbringing, which was Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, and Adam Wainwright, is now officially come to a conclusion because my Cardinals were absolutely terrible this year.
Yeah,
I would have
switch
much
teams.
rather had 20 some years of Wainwright than
Yeah.
I liked JD Drew. He Florida State guy.
He only won like 3. I think he played for 3 years for you.
Yeah, he was not a Brave for very long. He ended up being kind of a journeyman.
Yeah.
in the league, but
Wainwright and Molina had 325 starts together, which is the MLB
Incredible.
record, which is amazing. And then the other day, which this isn't, Wainwright finished his career with exactly 200 wins. They wouldn't let him pitch the last game to ruin his record, but they did let him come out and be a designated hitter, which was awesome.
Oh,
and then at the end of the game, he's a rising country star apparently, so he had his own country concert at the end of the baseball game.
I've
it
seen him
wasn't,
do
it
the
wasn't bad.
national anthem, and he
Yeah,
was
he's not
like
bad.
pretty good. Like
And-
everybody was looking around like Wayno's got some pipes.
He loves Jesus and
Yeah.
Water Mission.
Oh yeah.
So
There you go.
everyone should love Adam Wainwright. He's
There
the
you go.
best.
He's the man.
I had that I sent. I think Pippen and Jordan.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
if
we
you
skipped
think of
right over it.
duos, you can't leave them out.
Mm.
I wanted to throw some serious ones in there. 6 championships. Their all-time record is 75% wins. which is kind of crazy.
That's amazing.
Of
That's
them being
wild.
on the court at the same time, and playoff record is 70%.
That's pretty
So
amazing.
growing up, my favorite player of all time, and it still is Scottie Pippen, because growing up out in the you play out in the car porch or on the street. Todd, my brother, would always be MJ, just because he was the older brother. He had the authority, I guess, to proclaim his greatness. And then I was always Scottie Pippen.
Was Brian Horace Grant?
Yeah.
No, he was the announcer.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Brian Steve Kerr for sure. So I started to I actually have I wrote down a bunch. I had Jordan and Pippen on there, and the one reason I was probably not going to talk about them is because there's like distance between
Well,
them now.
I had that, in
and they're
there, yeah.
not
They're not
friends
fans.
now.
So
Like
they
they
hate
don't
each other?
really care
Well, no,
for each
wait.
other.
Pippen hates Jordan. I think Jordan is almost ambivalent to
Yeah.
Pippen, but it's gotten even weirder
Yeah,
because
so don't. Oh, you're not gonna bring this up, are you?
Pippen's ex-wife is
Yeah.
engaged to Jordan's
Son. Yeah.
which is super weird.
weird.
It's
So-
really weird. Yeah, so I was kind of like, is it? I mean, it was an iconic duo, but
Sports-wise.
like, can you ruin
On
an
the
iconic
court.
duo? Oh
On the
yeah,
court,
no,
iconic
I don't
duo.
disagree. I was trying to think of other sports ones too. I thought
We don't
of,
know what SpongeBob and Patrick do behind the scenes.
dude. They hate each other.
Oh, when they're
It's
not on
all
the show.
on-
SpongeBob's
Yeah.
actually secretly best friends with Squidward.
Yeah. Once the camera's on them, they're friends. Brady and Gronk would be a pretty good
Yeah, that's
sports
a good
duo
one.
too. They
Yeah.
won a
There's
lot of
lots
rings
sports
together.
ones.
Yeah, and Gronk like refused to play without Brady.
Mhm.
And for me to talk about them, I could not stand the Patriots.
Why not?
Oh, dude, stop.
Is there something in your past that you want to bring up?
No,
Does it involve the numbers 27-3,
28.
28-3?
That's
Sorry.
but yeah, pretty iconic duo out on the field. I had a couple others too. Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good duo.
I didn't see that one on a single list.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
no, I didn't.
Like I even had
wait,
one list
no,
that was
yeah, I
the
saw
top
it on
500, and I didn't see it on there.
I threw in a couple foods too. Peanut butter and jelly, iconic
Cheese and
duo.
crackers,
Chips and salsa. I mean, that's
uh,
maybe a top 5 duo. All
chips
time.
and guacamole from El Rey. That's the second time we've dropped El Rey on here. Just gonna throw that out there again.
So if you could only have chips and salsa or chips and guac for the rest of your life, which way are you going?
Chips and guac, only if it's El Rey guac and it's Qdoba chips.
Okay.
You guys get headaches when you eat?
Shout out Jonathan Butcher. who
Go get checked out.
needs to go to see a doctor. Yeah. Well,
Or if you're a doctor listening, please send Jonathan Butcher
Go
a
find
reference of what he needs to do.
find him where he is.
Yeah. So that's pretty thorough
A lot
list.
of duos.
Yeah. So
Wright brothers. That was another one Chloe said, which is like,
they didn't do anything important.
well, but it's funny when you think of it. Like you never hear them mentioned alone.
Fun fact, they wrecked and crashed one of their planes in the City Park Pond in Parkersburg.
Huh.
Really?
Where'd they start from?
I have no idea.
Because they were mostly in Kitty Hawk,
Probably
right?
in
Yeah.
Parkersburg. I don't know. All I know is that they crashed there. I don't remember the actual story, but that's our claim to fame.
Yeah. So before we move on, though, we've got a little game that we're going to play here. I picked a couple of the different duos that Scott and Phil had, and I had AI create a short rap about those duos.
Gosh.
And Scott and Phil are going to compete here. I've got the raps written down for them. Scott, you're going to be rapping about Batman and Robin and Chandler and Joey. And Phil is going to be rapping about Tom and Jerry and Mario and Luigi.
Okay.
You can do it in whatever order you want. We're going to start with Scott. So go ahead and pick. You don't have to read over it. Just pick which duo you want to rap about first. We're going full acapella, no beats.
I don't like rapping.
And we're going to have our weirdos out there drop in the comments. Let us know who wins this AI rap battle.
I'm
so-
going to lose.
Well, Scott, we don't know till we try. We got to kick things
What's
off.
some
Who are
spoken
you
word
rapping about
instead?
first? Who are you rapping about
I
first?
guess Batman and Robin.
You guessed Batman and Robin. The bat signal is in the sky. It's your time to shine. Go.
I hate this so much. In every episode, we laughed and let go. Batman and Robin, Gotham's Dark Knight, fighting crime in the shadows every single night.
Oh.
Pow! They strike. With justice, they vow.
Yeah.
Dynamic duo, no villains left now.
Oh.
In the Batmobile, they speed through the town. Kate Crusaders never going to back down. Kapow! They soar. Love us says kapow. In the moon's soft glow, Gotham's heroes wherever villains go. Batman and Robin, they're the ones to save the day. With bam and a pow, villains don't stand a chance. No way.
Hey! Awesome
Is it-
job, Scott.
That was-
So I actually, in what I told AI to do, I gave AI the guidelines and said you must include the word kapow.
I was wondering if you did
why
that.
kapow is in there so frequently. So great job, Scott. All right, Phil, who we rapping about first over here?
Would it be so much funnier if I just didn't do it and then we just moved on?
Oh,
It would be expected.
yeah, we don't have a choice though. We got to do this
All
thing.
right, you ready? Tom and Jerry chase all day. Cartoons, antics in every way.
Hey.
Feline and mouse, they never tire. Endless battles, humans fire.
Wow.
Tom and Jerry, a classic delight. Chasing and racing day and night. In their world of chaos, what a sight. Tom and Jerry, the eternal fight.
Oh! Drop the mic, Phil. All right. You brought the energy for that one. I think Phil's
have to
up
go
on
all
the
in,
charts
or
right
else
now.
you just win.
Scott, you got to go 110% in on what's your next one, Chandler and Joey?
I guess, yeah.
I will say, I read through these. The Chandler and Joey one is pretty awesome. So if you really tried here, you could maybe gain some ground here on Phil. Let's hear it.
Chandler and Joey, sitcom kings. Friends from the start, they spread their wings. Sarcastic wit and love for the game in the Big Apple that made their name.
Oh,
The bromance strong through thick and thin. Hilarious antics always win. From the couch to Central Perk's door, Chandler and Joey forever we adore. Chandler and Joey, laughter they bring. And friends, they're the real MVPs of their thing. With humor and heart, they stole the show. Did it like cut off in the middle of it?
You have to freestyle the last
I'm in a comma.
great job, Scott. I blame AI. Okay. so-
I blame you for whoever cut it off.
Yeah, I think I cut it off. I'm sorry. Awesome job, Scott. You really redeemed yourself there with the Chandler and Joey rap. And now Phil's going to finish us off with Mario and Luigi.
Mario and Luigi jumping so high. In the Mushroom Kingdom, they touch the sky. Plumbers by day, heroes by night. Saving Princess Peach is their birthright. Green and red caps side by side. Brothers forever on the ride. Through pipes and castles, they take the lead. With courage and power, they'll succeed. Mario and Luigi, a dynamic pair. With much so iconic, they are beyond compare. In the gaming world, their legends no lie. Together they conquer, reaching new heights so high.
Oh!
This is a significant part of what I did as a child. So it's not fair. He actually played college sports.
Right.
And I made stupid raps.
You were making raps about Taco Bell and the Pope. I've heard him. Phil has a career in this thing. So
We'll play soccer one time and you can
I'll own you.
Yeah, right.
yeah, so drop in the comments, vote on who you think won there.
It's Phil.
You guys both did great with that. Thanks AI for the rap. So we're gonna get started. We kick things off talking about some iconic duos, and so we're gonna transition into talking about friendship. Friendship. There may not be anything in the world as valuable to me as deep, meaningful, good friendships. I like connections with people just mean so much to me in my life. And today, before we get started, we're gonna introduce a new segment of the show. So in this segment, we're gonna let AI, who's been a big part of this episode so far, create a sick little one-liner for us on today's topic. I've been sharing with Phil and Scott. We kind of make fun of podcasts where like somebody will like lean in and like real slow, they'll drop this like alliterated little one-liner that's really clever, and then everybody's like it's so deep, but really it's like kind of shallow. But everybody like is like freaking out, pushing their mic away, running off the set. So I don't know if any of us are really profound enough to actually drop one of those, but so we're gonna let AI do it. And so I had AI create a little sick one-liner for us, and this segment is gonna be called "Shallow Shakespeare" by AI. So I had AI create us some quotes about friendship today. So we've got this. Make sure hold on to your hats and your butts here, okay? Because it's gonna be deep. So, friendship flourishes when forever friends find fun and frolic forever.
What?
Get off the show.
Oh.
Too deep for me. Or how about this one? Friendship flourishes when faith fuels our fellowship, fostering forever friends. The glasses is the best part. All right.
It's probably shocking to see me without glasses.
It is.
It's very terrifying.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then we've got this last one. Friendship is the radiant river that ripples in our souls, where unity and serenity sweetly strolls.
I like that one.
That was
Pretty deep.
awful.
Yeah. So there's shallow Shakespeare from AI. We'll drop those more in the future too. But there's something so attractive and appealing about, we just talked about those iconic duos, right? About like a perfectly put together combination. I think one of the reasons we're drawn to combinations like Scooby and Shaggy or Han Solo and Chewy is we long for those kind of friendships in our own lives. We long for this like counterpart that we can kind of do life with and kind of balance each other out. There's something special about watching those kind of friendships and collaborations. And there's something even more special about experiencing them. Having someone that you can connect with and share experiences with and laugh with and cry with, somebody who you would make sacrifices for, someone you can share life with, the worst parts of your life and the best parts of your life. We're designed to find community, and we're built to create and cultivate friendships with one another. Friendship isn't always easy, though, right? We've had our share of fights, right? The three of
I
us.
think it's been delightful.
No, I love it. It's worth it.
It's me and Josh just fighting
They just
with
hate
you,
me.
and you don't know it.
Yeah. That's kind of the like when you are so invested in a relationship with somebody, like you tend to fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and Phil have had like little random moments where we fought. Remember when we fought at Stone Tower that one time and you were right and I was wrong?
I heard someone say gangbusters the other day.
Yeah. Phil used a word that I didn't know. He said, I won't get into the whole thing. I thought he was insulting me.
And I was
by
trying
using
to
the
give
word
him a
gangbusters,
compliment.
Drop in the comments if you've ever heard anyone use the word gangbusters before. He was trying to give me a compliment. I thought he was insulting me, and I like kind of went off on him. He was like, "What the crap, dude? Like I'm trying to
Look the
encourage
word up
you
if
here."
you don't know it.
Yeah. So like friendship isn't always easy, right? Most people can think of friendships in their life that have come and gone. Maybe a friendship that did die off, or maybe one that just got a little bumpy at some parts. Just like any kind of human relationship, it's not always perfect. We bring flaws into our friendships. But even when it isn't easy, it is worth it. Friendship is so worth it. We need people. We need each other. This afternoon, I was listening to a song by Christian Stanfill about friendship. And it said, did you guys know he does music outside of like Passion City worship music? I didn't know that until recently, but super good stuff. But he says this in a song. Here's to the ones you can laugh with, the same ones you ugly cry with. Here's to the ones you go to war with and go to war for. Here's to the ones that know your secrets, but they don't see you any different. Here's to the ones that just sit and listen and don't try to fix it. The highs are a little bit higher. The lows make a little more sense when you've got someone in your corner that you know you can live it with. Yeah, life is complicated and our pride says we can make it on our own, but the truth is simple. We need people. We need people. We need friendships in our lives to help carry us. And it gets messy sometimes, but it is necessary. We can't go at this life alone. We've got to find our tribe, your group of people, your circle of friends to rely on. It's hard to think of something better than having someone in your corner, right? Knowing there's at least like one voice behind you, like one person behind you that's going to be cheering you on and spurring you on. Someone to have in your corner, on your side, who's going to encourage you and pick you up. Life gets hard for us, and there's nothing quite like someone to lean on, right? The song, Lean on Me. We thought about doing that for our Weird Faith intro. Does that one mean a lot to you?
No, it was just beautiful.
Really leaned back and like left the moment there for a second.
His soul left his body.
Yeah. But a friend who is, I heard this terminology one time, a soft place to land, right? That like the world can be chaotic and messy and hard for all of us, to like be that kind of friend for somebody that you're a soft place to land, somewhere that they can kind of rest and not be attacked and find more chaos.
When you're talking about that, something that comes to mind is like there's been different times in my life when it's like I'm leaving college or getting married or taking a new job or leaving an old job. And it's always comforting knowing that you have those people that will carry with you through those changes, because not everybody does.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There are, friends for certain times of our lives. And even if the friendship doesn't end, it changes. And I've got friends that I knew all through my teen years that if we called on the phone, we talk and it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But there's those other friends where it's like, okay, you're coming with me, like this, and you're always going to be there, no matter if I get fired from a job or something happens in a relationship. I know I can go back to those people.
Yeah, and the Bible gives us some amazing wisdom on friends. A lot of different verses you can look to kind of look for qualities in what the kind of qualities that you want to see in a friend, what good friendships do for us, and why the right friendships are so important. So before I get into rattling off some of those verses, I want to ask you guys right off the top of your head, what's a quality that you value most in a friend, or something like to you, this is one of the greatest traits that you could have in a friend? Like I've seen, you guys have probably seen where it's like build the perfect quarterback, and it's like Patrick Mahomes, mine, Josh Allen's, like, and they kind of like, what are the best attributes to give this person? Like, say we're building the perfect friend here. Like, what is a quality that you think has to be on that list?
Integrity is number one. And when I say integrity, it's that I can trust that what I say to you is going to stay with you, and what you say to me is going to stay with me. Just that level of trust and that integrity to be who they really are at all the times. It's hard in ministry to be real with people sometimes.
Yeah.
And so when I had that person, it means a lot.
Mine kind of goes the same with that, in that I know it's somewhere and I know I can go and be honest without judgment. And maybe at some point there's a, like, you know, not correction, but like, hey, have you thought about this? And a push towards more positive things, but at least in the moment, letting you talk and be honest, rather than you probably had people like that where it's like you're overwhelmed or you're emotional and they want to fix the problem in the moment. You know, well, what about this? What about that? Instead of just, letting me get it out. I'm not saying all of this is valid information. Yeah. It's how I feel in this moment. Let me get it out. And then 2-3 days later, when I bring it back up again, then, you know, maybe, but that's an important to be able to, and I guess that's listening. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, we can both process this.
Right.
You don't have to just jump in and immediately, like, you're not feeling the same thing that I'm feeling. You're not in the situation. You don't have to immediately jump in and offer advice and solutions.
Right.
Like that's one of the things I love about a friend that'll just like sit and listen and sit by my side, put their arm around me. And it's not, well, let me coach you on why you're in this situation. And I mean, like you said, eventually that's a good thing to get to.
Sure.
But in that moment, and Scott, your answer is great too. I mean, that's such a valuable thing to find.
I had a guy named Andrew who was the interim youth pastor before me at my last church. And we had a small group and he was part of it. And they invited us out. We're going to have a Christmas party, just play, I think it was like Quiplash or like variations of that. And when I walked through the door, he said, "You are not on the job tonight." He looked at everybody else in the room and said, "Scott is not on the job tonight. Take off your pastor hat and just be you." And I'll never forget that. Just be the ability just to sit and relax and not have to worry about you're going back to any judgment of anything that's said, or I just be me and not be expected to be anything else. And
well, that's a big thing that people don't think about with pastors. It's so connected to your being.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other jobs that are kind of like that too, but yeah, that would be a comforting thing to know, like, hey, we're not going to ask you to necessarily pray for the food. Like,
that's actually kind of annoying. Throwing it out there.
We
believe that you can pray to Jesus too.
That's kind of an inside joke. Like, I know we'll kind of talk about it. I have a couple other friends that it'll be like, all right, let's bet on who's going to get asked to pray when we all go out to eat. It's like, dude, we're not professional Christians. Like,
they look at you
like,
go, Reverend, you gonna do it?
You can have a relationship with Jesus the same as anyone else. Like, that's it can be hard as pastors to feel like you can, I don't want to say let your hair down. Like, you don't want to be a different person.
Right.
But like, you also like,
you're more than you.
Yeah. Like, I'm more than just a pastor. I'm a person. And like, I've found that with some of like Candace's friends, when they meet me and hang out with us, they like immediately like change who they are.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
And like apologize for everything. And I'm like, I want to know you. If you've been to like be friends with you.
If you've been attending our Sunday night CBC nights thing, you heard me say this the other night, but I was like, one of the fastest conversation enders in this world is the phrase, "I am a pastor."
Right. Every time I get my haircut,
it's so awkward because one of two options. One, the person's going to be excited and just want to be intrigued and want to know more. Other person will literally put their AirPods in and just ignore you. That's on a plane. If you've ever been on a plane, you said the words, "I'm a pastor," it's awkward.
Or they start like apologizing for like a random stranger.
so
They'll be like, I haven't been to church like I'm supposed to. I'm like, dude, I don't even know who you are. Like you, why are you apologizing to me for something in your life?
Go
right
confess
now?
to Jesus.
Right. Yeah, right. But the Bible says a lot about friendship. I love these verses in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. It says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one of them helps the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down, they will keep warm. How can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. We learn here that we're stronger, better, and far more capable when we band ourselves together with others, right? Alone, we can only withstand so much, but when we become tethered together in friendship, we're so much stronger. I love that quote. I heard it from you the first time about when the winter comes, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives, right? Like we need people around us to do this life. We learned a lot of different qualities about what it means to be a good friend in Scripture. I'm going to rattle some of these off. John 15, verses 12 through 13. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Friends live sacrificially for one another. And this may not always look like diving in front of a bullet, or if I push Scott out of the way of a car and
Into the bullet.
It may not always look like some dramatic, I'm laying down I'm going to die for you kind of thing. But sometimes it's sacrifice in other much smaller ways for the benefit of your friends in your everyday life.
Sometimes it's picking up the phone when you're busy and you don't want to pick up the phone.
Yeah, like that's a sacrifice sometimes, you know?
No.
Classic Joey moment when he dives in front of Ross when that car backfires, but he was really saving the sandwich. But Ross was like, this sacrificial love, you are my best friend. Chandler doesn't mean anything anymore. But true love of a friend it's sacrificial. That's what friends do. Proverbs 17:17, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Friends show up consistently, not conditionally, right? No matter what, even at the worst time, a friend is going to be there. Proverbs 27:17. We got a lot in Proverbs here. There's a lot of wisdom in there. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Friends bring out the best in each other. They push each other to be the best that they can. A real friend wants to see you at your best, healthy and thriving and doing what is good, right? My best friends want to see me fly high. They don't want to see me crash and burn. They're not jealous when things are good in my life. My good, true friends want to see me well, right? How about this one from Proverbs 16:38? A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. So a friend is one who is honorable and honest with their words, not a gossip, not slandering. Gossip and slander separates and devastates friendship. So a friend is kind and careful with their choice of words. So great friendships, these are just a few verses. You see a lot in the Bible about encouraging one another, praying for one another, forgiving one another. But great friendships can be characterized by these things like consistency and sacrifice and encouragement and kindness and telling the truth and honesty. Now, are your friends always going to do these things perfectly? It's like, if they fail to do all these things perfectly, should we write them off?
Right.
No, that's not the case. We still have grace for one another, and we recognize that we all, like we said earlier, we bring flaws to friendships. And sure, there might be instances where you need to step away and maybe put some separation between you and someone who's been a friend if it becomes toxic or something like that. But this isn't like, these things aren't meant to be like a strict criteria, like, oh, you want to be my friend? Like, let me see how you measure up to these biblical qualities real quick. But these are like things that we should look to like guide us to be good friends, right? It's not to be used to shame the people in our lives. If anything, we should see this as the best way to be a friend to someone else, the best way to sustain a friendship with someone. It's been famously said that if you can't find a friend, go and be a friend. So try to like pray and ask God to like bring these qualities out in you in your life. You'll find yourself in a lot more meaningful relationships if you just focus on doing your part there and being a good friend to people, being the kind of friend that you want to have in other people. And then we also learn from the Bible that choosing our friends wisely matters a lot for us. Paul wrote to the Corinthians that bad company corrupts good character. And we have a tendency to become like those who we spend the most time with. right? Like it matters so much.
I always think about that as
Look
like,
at you guys right now.
look at this.
I'm wearing an outfit.
No, I think about this like Halloween candy. If you like when you get all your Halloween candy in like one little like you have like a little jack-o'-lantern thing.
Yeah.
You ever notice that if you let it sit there, all the candy starts tasting the same?
Yeah.
You ever notice this? Even with the plastic on, the other candy starts tasting like all the other ones. So the first thing you need to do that we do at our house, we take individual Walmart bags and separate all of them. So we keep the Twix together, Snickers together, because they basically cross-contaminate and begin to taste really bad.
That's happened in like a fruit vegetable basket, like sitting on our counter, where like some potatoes went bad, and then it was like everything in there turned bad, or maybe didn't look rotted, but everything stunk. Everything had that like residue on it. Like it just wasn't. It contaminated and ruined everything else in there. There's a famous quote. I don't know who it's attributed to. It says, "Show me your 5 closest friends, and I can tell you who you are." Right. This is something we've talked about with students. Like it matters so much who we give influence in our life. Your friendships help determine your direction, and your direction is going to determine your destination. Yeah. So just in closing here, like friendship is one of the most valuable and life-giving things in the world. Like I'm so thankful for the friendships that God has blessed me with. Getting to do the podcast with you guys, like a sappy moment. Like these are 2 of my best friends in the world. I know. I'm sitting right here. But no, I would tell these guys to their face every day. They mean a lot to me. You guys really do. I love you both. I value our friendships. I value that we can encourage one another. We make each other better. We're honest with each other. I look forward to being around you guys because I think it makes me better all the time. I think about some of the closest friends I have. I wanted to say, like, when I was thinking about this earlier, like I'm thinking about, some of the friendships God blessed us with when we moved here to West Virginia. Some of our just dear friends today. And I wanted to say, like, they saved my life. But really they changed my life and enhanced my life so much that I could never measure that. Like, that's how it feels to me. Like, it's not like I was like going down a road and I was going to die without, but like the way that my friendships here have changed my life and made it so much better, given so much more value to my life, it feels that drastic. And like, I have just so many people to thank for just being good, quality, godly friends in my life. So what are your thoughts?
A big thing that adults especially talk about is a lack of friends. When you get to a certain age, you don't walk outside in your neighborhood and see someone playing basketball and go walk over there and becomes friends with that person for the rest of their lives. Yeah. That happens when you're 8 years old or 10 years old. And we lose that. And I think we forget to put time into it too. We know we're supposed to put time into our jobs and, entertainment, things that just are fun. But someone said this about community, but I think it's true of friendships too, that friendships are not found, they're built. And I think that's a lot of what people are doing is they're looking to find a friend rather than build a relationship with a friend. There's probably 100 opportunities when you came here for you to go and be alone rather than take up that opportunity to go do something or step outside of your comfort zone and ask somebody to go hang out instead of just turn on that next Netflix binge watching thing. It's built, it's not found. And if you're an introvert, those things are even harder for us to do because it's even scarier or, feels like it's dangerous in some way. Recently, I felt like I had some of those friendships that I had in the past kind of slipping away a little bit. So I texted those guys. I said, "Hey, I need this community with you guys, and it has value." So we put phone calls on the calendar, and every month I'm calling these guys. I'm not looking for content from them. Yeah. I don't actually have like, an agenda of this is what I need from you. I want a mutual, and I told them that both of them, like, I'm not looking for anything from you. I want something that's beneficial for you and beneficial for me, for us to just have some opportunity to be in community and live in community, even though the reason they have fallen away is because they don't live near me, within hundreds of miles of me. Right. And it's easy for us to lose some of those special friendships. But that would be my encouragement for you as adults, to step out and to look to build those relationships with people or rebuild those relationships with people. Maybe you burned a bridge over something that somebody said or a post during 2020. Name any of them that you know, all the different reasons.
Right.
It's really valuable. Friendship like that. And if you had a friend like that and you cut somebody out of your life, you need to figure out a way to get that back.
Yeah.
Because those lifetime long friends are few and far between. And it might not be that you need to find a new friend. It might need to be that you found an old friend
And rekindled that.
and
yeah.
I don't know about rekindling anything, but maybe that's
a weird word.
When we started talking about friendship, I'll let you talk here in a second.
Thanks for your permission.
Yeah. I mean, I will abscond the mic to you. But have you guys ever heard the song Old Friends by Ben Rector?
Oh, dude, I love that song.
So it came to my mind when you were talking about that. I'm just going to read the first verse and the chorus. I do not get emotional about anything ever. And this is a song that could get me there if I let it. But it says, I can still find Wiley's house, that being one of his friends, riding on my bike with my eyes closed. I could name every girl that he took out and from my memory dial his house phone. Can you take me back to when we were just kids who weren't scared of getting older? Because no one knows you like they know you, and no one probably ever will. You can grow up and make new ones, but the truth is there's nothing like old friends because you can't make old friends. And so that'd be my encouragement for you. Those people that knew you when you were a pimple-faced little twerp that was a jerk and still carried through, go and find those people that were there. And that might be where you can find some of this community we're talking about.
I actually quoted that in my best man speech for Colby Freeman's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was, I hadn't seen him in a couple years too. So, and it was like, I remember hearing that song like a couple months before the wedding. Yeah. And like you said, I'm like kind of a mess in the car driving home from work. Like, man, there's so much truth to that. Like you just, it, like he says, like you can make new friends and like these friends now might be my old friends.
Sure.
Well, another day, but yeah, those like friends in your childhood, like, like we let those things die so easily, but like those are special relationships. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think thing I appreciate that you're saying was about the intentionality, because intentionality and also understanding where the foundation of your friendship is, because often I think our relationships are built on proximity.
Oh yeah.
Because we live near each other, because we work close together, whatever it may be. Well, when that proximity is now no longer there, what's that relationship like, right? Yeah. And so, for us moving, we had to find ways of being intentional with our friends that we had in Parkersburg and still have in Parkersburg. And we're still being intentional with them, trying to see them from time to time and talk with them from time to time because our kids are invested in each other also. But then also not living in the past or living now trying to step into a new space. And like you're talking about moving here, having to be intentional with developing new friendships that are also developed not in proximity, but also on real thing. And I have found that the strongest friendships that I have are the ones, I think it goes back to that proverb that you did reference, is all based on ones that we've walked through hell together with. One of my closest friends, Tony, he listens a lot. Tony and I went through a lot of stuff early on, and it started off as like almost like a pastoral counseling thing, and then turned into a brotherhood that will always last, and we always know we can rekindle that. I'm going to use the word rekindle that, but we can pick right up where we left off. But we talk weekly now, but it does require intentionality. Yeah, but just know that. I mean, because when you're going to move, you're going to get a new job. You're going to something's going to happen when that proximity is gone, and so if your whole relationship is built on proximity, it just won't last. Yeah,
I want to kind of the whole intentionality. I'm glad we've kind of landed on that word because I think that is so much. And like Phil always gets on us about not watering our plants, and me and Scott are notorious for letting plants die. Phil thinks
brings
about
it back to life.
Phil, but it's like a plant. You've got to nourish it and cultivate it and give it what it needs to grow and to be healthy.
Notice when it's screaming.
And notice when it's
Mine is thriving. I've done a good job.
All right. I want to give Phil a shout out. I don't think I know anybody else in my life who works harder to make those intentional moves. I really mean that. Like
About keeping plants alive?
no, about reaching out and trying to make things happen.
Gotcha.
Like there are days where I'm like, man, I feel like I'm seeing Phil in like 5 different group chats right now, but it's because Phil's like, I want to stir up some conversation between these guys and these guys. And like once a week, Phil's reaching out to us. Hey, do you guys want to go to dinner? Hey, do you guys want to do something? Hey, 2 weeks from now, let's do Thursday night football. Hey, this and this and this. Like, I just want to shout out, you do an amazing job.
You all want to do a movie night?
Movie night? Yeah.
Well, that's what. So that I sent them, and I don't even know if you guys got a chance to read it, but that article about community being built and not found, and its second point was you've got to reassess your life if you want to do that. And so if you can say you want community and intentionality with friendship all you want, but if you're not putting it on your calendar, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And like, would you even say that that's like a natural gift? Yeah. And that's what I think it's even cooler.
Right.
Because I know when you do it, it's like,
right, I'm
thinking about this thing,
right,
and I'm intentionally going to make it happen.
A lot of times, I'm going to be honest, it's because I'm praying for those people, and it comes out of that. Like, I need to. It's one thing to pray from a distance. It's another thing to say I need to invest. You know.
Yeah. So talk about being intentional. I wish so bad that I had the courage that I had as a second grader to go and find new friends. And you kind of talked about that too. I vividly remember I was born and lived 7 years of my life in Tennessee. We moved to Georgia, and I was terrified that I was never going to find any friends. And I remember the first day of school, in the school bathroom, probably could have picked a better venue, right? I walk up to this kid named Walker, and I'm like, "Hey, will you be my friend?" I legit walked up to this kid, looked him in the eyes in a school bathroom, and said,
"Don't do that
Hey,
today.
Will you be my friend?" And he didn't respond. Aww. He stared at me for like 3 seconds and walked out of the bathroom. And I just remember feeling crushed. But in a matter of like 2 days, we were best friends because like, I guess we both just kind of like gravitated towards each other in the classroom and recess, whatever. And through all of elementary school, he was one of my best friends. But I always
need to call Walker.
I haven't talked to him in a long time. I see him on Instagram. In the wild chance that you're watching this, Walker, your friendship means a lot to me. I spent a lot of days out at his house and him at my house, and really good buddies. But I always think back to like, man, the courage it took to like, all right, I'm gonna address this issue, and I'm just gonna look someone, and like it probably wouldn't. You'd creep somebody out if you did. Like, adults don't. Hey, will you be my best friend? That person will not be your best friend. Right. But like, kind of going with that posture of like, I'm going to build something here, and I'm going to be intentional about it. So.
One other thing that Tori and I have been purposefully done. We noticed a long time ago that when people ask you to go places, they rarely, if you say no, they will rarely ask you ever again.
Yeah.
That rejection of that one time, even if it's totally legit. I've got a funeral. I've got, I'm having heart surgery. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you ask somebody or someone asks you and you say, no, I can't, sorry. And then you don't follow up later with, hey, we need to get coffee. Here's the date or whatever. When I'm talking to people at church, I will do that too. It's like, I'm going to make space for that first time you ask me to do something because I know it is hard to do that. Stepping out,
you might not get the second invite.
Right? Yeah, you might not ever get that second one. Or if I can't, the second thing is I can't do that day, but here's another day. Does this work for you? But that just goes to show again, pushing through the obstacles and the awkwardness and the vulnerability and the insecurity to get to where the genuine friendship is.
Yeah.
I know I can't get past this. I think Josh is still living in the hurt of Walker.
Yeah.
So I just need to say this to you. You've got troubles. I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We're going to stick together. We'll see it through because you got a friend in me.
Maybe how would we not say Buzz and Woody?
I had him on my list.
I thought one of you would.
Again, I felt like I was doing too much with the animated characters. Buzz and Woody might actually be my favorite.
That's a good one.
They're pretty fantastic. Yeah. Well, you guys got anything else on friendship? I mean, I feel like we could talk.
Scott, you
about
put something
this for-
together.
Yeah,
just
I
a
have a
minute ago.
perfect way of closing out our episode. But if you need to say anything else first, say it.
Is it an
We're-
AI song?
We're gonna close out with a song.
From AI?
Is it a song or is
We're
it
gonna
a
do
rap?
it. It's a rap.
That for him, right?
Yeah, that
Dude.
Josh is gonna do. But there's parts for us.
Oh, okay,
So we'll
okay.
jump in there at our
So
part.
I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. I had AI last night make a song about the three of us on our adventures in weird faith.
It's more or less what I did.
Okay. So is this something I'm going to
Are
rap?
we okay that this is very long?
So-
yeah. Thanks for staying with us, weirdos. Hey, it's worth
Hey,
it.
what we're gonna do-
for friendship.
Josh will do the part, and then we'll do our part, and then we'll stop.
Okay,
We'll do
okay.
verse 2, and verse 3, and verse 4.
I mean, this is very long.
You have to tell them AI.
I had to do a poem.
Who's them?
Well,
You have to tell the lizard people. You have to tell AI keep it to 2 verses.
Well, like,
That's
we
what I
did-
did for y'all's rap.
we did poetry the other day. I was like, okay, make it a haiku. Just keep it short and simple
Yeah.
because it was getting ridiculous. All right, ready?
Is it a rap or is it a poem?
Wait, am
or
I
is it a
am I
song?
reading some of this?
Yeah, do you got it? It's on your phone.
Did you text me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
here.
yeah, he doesn't have it hooked up to his computer.
No, I do now. I did while we were in
Look at
class the other day because I.
there. Look at
Because he wasn't
there.
paying attention.
Yeah, I was not.
Wow.
Okay. All right, I've got it.
So,
Oh, it's long, man.
so is Pastor Phil?
That's
am I
you.
everything above it?
That's everything below.
Oh, okay. So who's the first one?
Wait,
Just
is
Josh
it
starts
broken into? Where do I stop?
Where it says Pastor
Pastor Phil. Okay. All right, ready? Yo, let me tell you about a podcast. It's unique, where faith and the weird meet. It's a spiritual streak. 3 pastors, best friends, Phil, Josh, and Scott, talking Jesus and life, connecting the dots. Weird faith is the name, breaking barriers wide, deciphering scriptures, taking it in stride. From Genesis to Revelation, they break it down, unveiling mysteries, wearing faith like a crown.
I'm Pastor Phil with the spirit in my soul, rocking with Christ on a heavenly roll.
Hey.
From the pulpit to the podcast, where we spread the truth, unraveling the Bible since our days of youth.
I'm Pastor Josh, here to pave the way. Weird Faith fam will light up the day. In a world full of doubts, we stand by grace. I missed it. In a world full of doubts, we stand by grace, going through trials at a steady pace.
And I'm Pastor Scott, keeping it real. We're Faith Nation. Let's seal the deal.
Oh.
Life's no cakewalk, but we've got a plan. Trust in Jesus. He'll hold you by the hand.
Weird Faith, it's a journey, it's a ride. 3 pastors, best friends, walking side by side, talking about Jesus, breaking chains of strife. On the podcast, we're living the Weird Faith life.
That's for you all.
Dude, should we keep going?
No, we should not keep going.
I'm having fun with it. I like
We're going to have, maybe we'll have Eli put music to this and we'll produce it.
Yeah. So I was actually, while we were in class the other day, I was trying to get it to make an easy Weird Faith rap. And I gave it like some of our stories or our personalities or something, but I couldn't get one that I really liked.
Makes sense, yeah. And we'll have to keep the AI integers.
Oh, it's so much fun. I'm doing shallow Shakespeare every week. I couldn't land on a name with that. It's kind of funny. We talked about Shakespeare earlier.
Yeah.
I was just going to call it like Profound Fire by AI or something. Maybe that's better. I don't know. But
Awesome, guys. We're so happy to have been with you, and we hope you feel like you are our friend and that we have built somewhat of a community here. We love to see your posts on Facebook, on Instagram, especially though they're in the YouTube chat.
The YouTube.
The YouTube chat.
That YouTube. We got to get them to come down here and record one of these one day.
Yep. So remember, we're looking for the best post this week, the best comment. If you just want to roast us for the terrible and awkward raps that we just put through,
I don't think that happened.
Maybe we put the lyrics out and challenge you to do better.
Yeah.
Ron,
Yeah.
I want to hear you do a rap.
Let's go ahead and see that.
Yeah, the challenges too. Don't forget, hey, just be thankful for your friendships. I mean, like, really think about how much value that's giving you. Go find some friends. Go be a friend. And work to cultivate those relationships. Put the time in.
And if
be
you're a
intentional.
Christian, you got to have at least some authentic Christian community as well. If you're not yet, come be friends with us, and we'd love to hang out with you.
There's a ministry that Kate and I are part of, and there's something that they say all the time in one of the talks. It's be a friend, make a friend, bring a friend to Jesus. There's your challenge right there.
that.
Simple.
That's profound fire.
Profound
Oh,
fire.
yeah.
Better than Shakespeare.
But it might take approaching someone in the bathroom and saying,
Will you
"Will you be my friend?"
That's not what I'm
So-
prescribing, but
so,
it might work.
That's the challenge this week. It might get weird, but let's get weird because normal isn't working.
Love you guys.